House Oversight Committee Chair Rep. Comer is threatening Hillary and Bill Clinton with criminal charges for refusing to answer subpoenas related to the Epstein case. And wow, am I absolutely expecting nothing to happen. And it's a slow news day where the only thing anyone's talking about is Epstein. And we actually have a Democrat delegate caught colluding with Epstein to go after Trump, and the Democrats are defending it. So I couldn't tell you why Trump all of a sudden wants the Epstein files released after saying they were bunk, and then before that saying we'd release them, and then he gets elected and says they're bunk, but now he wants to release them. I got no idea what's going on other than I go to these mainstream media websites. I go to the front page, and I'm like, what's the news of the day? And they have like 80 articles about Epstein, nothing substantive. And that's why I'm like, so what's everybody talking about? What's a trending thing? Well, they're threatening Bill and Hillary Clinton with prison. Okay, to be fair, they did this to Bannon and Navarro. And so if the Republicans actually grow some, if you know what I mean, they might actually say contempt of Congress. We'll see. I doubt it. But there is a big story in this Democrat Plaskett who was caught colluding with Epstein. She's now admitted to it, defended it, and is saying, well, no one really knew what he was doing at the time in 2019 when literally everybody knew what he was doing. He was sued, already criminally charged, and was a registered sex offender. It's fascinating that the Democrats tried to go after Trump on the Epstein stuff. I don't understand. Did they not think at least one move ahead? I'd love to play them in chess for money. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. A bunch of stories. Big winter storm apparently is going to come. That's important news for everybody at home. We'll talk about snow, I guess. Before we get started, my friends, we got some great sponsors for you. We got joincrowdhealth.com. It's open enrollment. The season where health insurance companies hope you'll blindly sign up again for overpriced premiums and confusing fine print. Don't just take someone else's word. Trust yourself and take control of your future with Crowd Health, the healthcare alternative for people who make their own decisions. It's healthcare for under $100. You get access to a team of health bill negotiators, low-cost prescription and lab testing tools, as well as a database of low-cost, high-quality doctors vetted by Crowd Health. And what if something major happens? You pay the first $500, then the crowd steps in to help fund the rest. It feels like the options we used to have before Obamacare messed everything up. And of course, you'll join the crowd, a group of members just like you who want to help pay for each other's unexpected medical events. The system is betting you will stay stuck in the same overpriced, overcomplicated mess. And this year, it's even more complicated because most of the ACA subsidies expire, which means your prices are going sky high. So far, Crowd Health members have saved over $40 million in healthcare expenses because they refuse to overpay for healthcare. This open enrollment, take your power back. Go to joincrowdhealth.com, promo code TIM. Crowd Health is not insurance opt-out. Take your power back. It is how we win at joincrowdhealth.com. And don't forget, my friends, head over to timcast.com/join us. Click that little join us button because community is our strength. Join the Discord server and you'll get access to every day we do 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Timcast co-host private VIP streams in the Discord. We've got the Friday backstage live where you get to watch the whole pre-production process where we're saying naughty things, cussing, and loading graphics. But it is an extra hour where you're hanging out with us as we set the show up on Friday in these afternoons and a VIP behind the scenes as we do the pre-recorded show live for Fridays. You'll also get access to the entire community's efforts. They have early shows, after shows, and you can call in to the uncensored Timcast IRL Monday to Thursday at 10 p.m. exclusively on Rumble. If you believe the work we do is important and you want us to succeed, or you just like what my face looks like, please give us $10 a month at timcast.com for the Discord community. And don't forget to smash that like button. Share the show right now everywhere you can. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more, we've got JP Sears.
Hello. Good to see y'all. And you can find me on YouTube and Rumble. My handle is AwakenWithJP.
What do you do?
I'm a comedian. I have a lot to say about politics, and I like to share my perspectives through the language of comedy. So I do multiple sketches a week. I don't even know the schedule. It's a lot.
Right on. Should be fun. Thanks for hanging out. We got race car driver extraordinaire, Cody Dennison.
Howdy.
Who are you? What do you do?
Well,
I know I just explained it, but tell us.
I struggle to go in circles, which you would think would be way easier, but I found it's a lot harder than I expected.
You're better at turning left than anyone here.
Well, that's damn sure. Well, I don't know. We were upstairs earlier. I don't know.
I was teaching Cody the ropes because we got NASCAR 25.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain to him what you do is you just when you're about to pass somebody, you nudge them so they spin out of control and crash. And I'm sitting here like, how did I figure this out before you?
Yeah, dude, it's wild. Yeah, I've not even won a race in the game yet. You were just winning over and over, and I'm like, maybe there's something to this, but I'm the kind of guy that when I'm playing like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, I can't choose the mean option. It hurts my feelings for the NPC.
The NPCs, you want to let them win because they're your friends.
It's like, how it has an option where it's like, get out of here, you fool. I'm just like, no, you can come with me and I'll save you every time.
We need Cody to program the AI. That's what needs to happen. That way the AI will never be mean. It'll always do nice things.
It's so kind. I can't help it, dude. No matter what playthrough on any game, I just can't hurt anybody. I'm weird.
Well, it should be fun. Thanks for hanging out. Brett is here.
Better at turning left. That means you're like the opposite of Zoolander.
Yes.
That is a pop culture reference from a long time ago.
If you don't know who I am, it's Brett, guys. Pop Culture Crisis, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing quite well. Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary, and I am equally proficient at turning left and right, but not nearly as good as Cody.
Have you been watching Pluribus? Oh, come on. How do you even know? We got to talk. I want to talk about that show again.
Apple TV
AI.
is for people who get shoved into lockers.
Well, but Pluribus is basically a show about AI, and it feels like they're trying to convince you AI takeover is a good thing. But we'll talk about that. Let's first start with this story from Newsweek. Bill and Hillary Clinton risk prison over Epstein's silence. They risk it. No Republicans got the chutzpah to actually do it, so I don't even know why Newsweek is writing about it, but they put it on the front page of their website because they expected to get clicks. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer said on Tuesday that former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton could face criminal exposure related to newly surfaced Jeffrey Epstein documents. Quote, "We expect to hear from Bill and Hillary Clinton," Comer said on Just the News, No Noise. Donald Trump answered questions for years about Jeffrey Epstein. Every day he gets asked questions about Epstein, and he answers them in front of the American people. We've subpoenaed Republicans and Democrats. They go on to say the DOJ said Friday it's examining Epstein's purported connections to high-profile Democrats, among them Bill Clinton. As part of the investigation, Comer issued subpoenas to the Clintons and 8 other individuals that followed the release by Congress last week of more than 20,000 pages of documents. A batch of newly released correspondence includes messages involving Trump, among them an email from Epstein's brother Mark referring to photos of Trump, quote, blowing Bubba, while Bubba is a nickname of Clinton. Mark Epstein told Newsweek that the individual was not the former president. He described the exchanges as a lighthearted banter between siblings and said they were never intended to be made public or interpreted literally. Or Trump and Bill Clinton were more than friends. That proves it. Is this why Trump didn't want the Epstein files
All
released?
the evidence I need.
He goes like, Pam Bondi's like, Mr. President, there's literally nothing in here that's incriminating at all. And he's like, okay, well, we should release him. But there is an email claiming you blew Bill Clinton. Wait a minute, what? We can't release this. No, that's not coming out.
It's not illegal. I mean, think about how much power he would gain over everybody and went over the left if he just came out there and was like, it's a presidential one. I had to do it.
I had to do it.
It was right in front of me. Everybody else done it.
Every president. Yeah, it's the hazing ritual for all presidents.
And then everybody would be like, oh, wow. He's great.
Every president has to service every other living president as they enter office.
It's like the picture of Bill Clinton when he's at the desk and it says, "Little do you know, there's 2 people in this photo." It was actually Trump. It wasn't Monica Lewinsky.
I was just going to say, personally, I am shocked to hear the Clintons mentioned in association with Epstein. It's just, but also to me, the most optimistic part of this article, somewhere in it says Newsweek reached out to the Clintons for comment, but no comment was returned. That's good. I would have expected Newsweek to say, yeah, we reached out to Clintons for comment, but our reporter wound up hanging themselves in a tree, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
2 of them.
Gun found 30 feet away. It's suicide. Yeah. Sorry to see the reporter go.
Kudos to the reporters for actually reaching out in the first place. That's a dangerous.
It's very courageous.
Imagine being that guy.
They did the thing where they reach out at like the last exact moment at like 11:59 p.m. and they got to turn in copy by midnight. They're like, I asked. They didn't get back to me.
It was an anonymous email sent from someone started their own Yahoo account, so they could send it to the Clintons.
Dude, imagine being that one reporter. And you're like sitting there, your cubicle alone, and
sweating.
The boss walks up to you and he's like, slides it towards your desk.
They drew straws.
Everybody's watching, like shaking. It's like, it's your time, Rodrigo.
Here's what he said. He said, so we expect the Clintons to come in, or I expect the Clintons to be met with the same fate that Bannon and Navarro were met with when the Democrats were in control. House Democrats sought criminal charges against Bannon, and we know this about Navarro as well. And actually, they both went to prison.
Yeah.
You know, if the Republicans actually made some moves and arrested like Bill and Hillary Clinton, and it was like for 4 months, I would feel pretty good, but I don't know if it's satisfactory enough. I mean, they're both old and out of the picture at this point. Is it just throwing some rotted red meat at the base to be like, oh, we're going to do something to the Clintons? They're not going to do anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
just for comedy, just because it would be hilarious to see the Clintons actually facing some kind of repercussions for something they did, I think it would be funny.
It would make people feel a little good, and then I wouldn't wake up in a sweat at 3 a.m. every night like I do right now.
And
you know Hillary Clinton, she exists. So.
Yeah, and I think if Hillary was in prison for a few months, Netflix could do a reality like women's prison show. That would be great. You got to imagine Hillary's going to be the boss running the prison just within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Intimidating everybody.
You know, I would like to see if so. You know that scene from Watchmen where Rorschach is in line. You know this what I'm talking about. But like, it's Hillary.
Hillary, you're not.
Some woman's like, I heard, you know, and then Hillary grabs the thing and splashes the lady with.
I'm not stuck in here with you.
Boiling
You're
oil.
stuck
Yeah.
in here with me.
Or I mean, to be completely honest, she gets into prison and immediately it's like, okay, boss, like she's already the boss of these people.
Yeah. It's gonna be like those old mob movies where they had like their own rooms and chefs, and they had pool tables and cards and drugs and stuff.
I mean, I got to be honest. If Hillary Clinton and Bill went to prison, outside everybody would be cheering as they go in, you know, hands cuffed, and Hillary's like, "I'll get you for this, Trump." And then as soon as the door closed, they uncuff her. Sorry, ma'am. They hand her clothes, and then like right this way, and there's like a luxury suite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the real way to take them down would be to go after their assets. Would be to go after. Is the Clinton Foundation even still?
It's
No.
It's
Yeah,
shut
so
down.
They're like
man.
they're 300 years old. So it's fine to say we want answers from the Clintons on this stuff, but they're like 300 years old. You know, like, can we just? I suppose we should say, of course, we want answers from the Clintons, but at a certain point, they're so old and it's so 10 years ago. Are there more pressing issues to focus on right now, like Gen Z?
I mean, how old are they? Like
900.
They're not 900. They're like what, in their 70s?
Just put
Well,
Chelsea.
we
in
have the
prison.
internet, so
In the 70s, you know. Theoretically, they could live to be Jimmy Carter age. So you know, you
Hillary
get them for more than
Clinton
a few.
is 78 years old.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
Bill's 79. Hillary's yeah.
Wow.
they went to prison for the rest of their lives. That could
Which is-
theoretically be like 20 years if they were if they ended.
Well,
to live up like
they're at
Jimmy
life
Carter.
expectancy, so theoretically.
We'll give them a certain sentence, and then just put their kids in afterwards.
If you get 20 years, and if you don't make it, the remaining years go to your daughter.
It's the crime family. Let's go.
She's like, no, but if I get exonerated, you have to listen to Chelsea Clinton's podcast for the rest of your life.
Does she have a
I
podcast?
think she does.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's crushing it. I mean,
there's
her
at
and Michelle Obama, just people care what they have to say.
It's called That Can't Be True with Chelsea Clinton. And
There's like one guy who comes up with all the
By the
phrase
Clinton
names
Foundation.
for every podcast.
See, I imagine they named her podcast after like their response to all the allegations against the Clinton family. That can't be true.
wait,
that
hold on.
would be a good name for a podcast.
That can't
She
be
has-
true is the safest answer.
She had a podcast called In Fact with Chelsea Clinton in 2022. I guess that's gone. How many? It has 300 reviews and it got 4 stars.
What was her first one?
Then she's got That Can't Be True with Chelsea Clinton, and this one is ongoing. This is the new one, That Can't Be True, funded by the Clinton Foundation.
She should start a true crime podcast called The Clinton Crime Family. That would the views that thing would get would be astronomical.
Yeah, women like Chelsea Clinton
do.
and they like true crime. So I imagine it would be one of the most popular podcasts on Apple Podcasts immediately.
So wait, you have to go to the Clinton Foundation YouTube. They have 12,000 subscribers. This is the thing. At what point are we like, I wish we got answers on the Clintons, but they're so old and out of the picture. Are we just spinning our wheels?
Well, I think they're probably the biggest name that's been named or allegedly involved with Epstein. So I think people want to see that because they're the biggest name, but I don't think they're the most relevant. Like Bill probably wasn't in there running the operation and Epstein's working for him. He's potentially a client, but I think there's bigger fish to fry when we're looking at getting justice on the crimes that happened.
When you did I was talking to you before the show, I mentioned that you did a video on Epstein, and it had to be like 2020, and it's one of my favorites. Like I can still quote parts of it. And in the background, you had like a big thing that said Clinton body count, and I think it was at 50 at the time.
Yeah, no, what's interesting, that video came out in, I think, February 2020, so right before COVID. And back then, YouTube was censoring talk about Epstein. Like, that video got something done to it, some other stuff I did on Epstein. That was just nuts. Like, okay, big tech is censoring opinions on Epstein. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, big tech was censoring basically anything that the Democrats told them to censor at the time.
Oh, the COVID
allegedly, yes.
COVID opened everyone's eyes, especially just normal people.
Yeah.
Like you have these niche groups of people that are in entertainment, or maybe they hold different opinions than which would normally be accepted in certain levels of entertainment. And all of a sudden, everybody was finding out. You couldn't even say it on Facebook. I mean, normal people would say something on Facebook and get censored for 24 hours and get muted. So all these normal people started seeing this, and they're like, "Wait, something strange is going on."
Yeah, I think that this is something that we've said around the table before. Even though overall COVID was a terrible thing, like the way the government behaved and stuff, it really did open so many people's eyes to how deceptive the government is. And that's kind of a double-edged sword, because there are people out there now where the default opinion is, of course the government's lying. If the government said it, it can't be true. And that isn't really productive at all. There are a lot of people that are just like, look, man, they got me when it came to COVID. I bought that, and now I won't get, bamboozled again. So anything they say, they have to be lying. If the government says it has to be lying, and I feel like that doesn't work functionally.
I'm in that camp, Phil, and I like it there. I just like
it's
you don't have to think just automatically they're lying. What were they?
Yeah,
they said gravity's real. What
is there an example you can think of something that like you've seen people saying like this is clearly untrue, and you're like, hold your horses?
Not off the
You're a
top
dad
of my head.
now, so you can say hold your horses.
Yeah, I can say hold your horses. Not off the top of my head. Mostly it's the thing that at least strikes me the most is the attitude that people have. Like, so if you'll say something, people think that now, because they are skeptical of everything, that they're somehow like enlightened in some way, and they're just like, psh, oh, and it's more of a, like, you're so dumb and I'm so smart because I don't believe this, or you must believe that, so you're dumb. It's more the attitude that I notice more so than any particular topic or issue.
Yeah. I agree with you. To me, it's, they probably call themselves a free thinker, but if their automatic default is a position of defiance relative to what a government official says, there's no thinking involved.
Yeah. Perma bears are right sometimes, right? If you're constantly saying the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash, and you're saying it for 10 years, when the market crashes, it's not that you were like had some kind of great insight. It's that you've been saying the market's going to crash. And so when it finally does, eventually, the clock's, even a broken clock's right twice a day,
Let's jump to the story from CNN. This should be one of the biggest stories of our generation, and it is a Democrat caught colluding with Epstein when he was well known to have been a sex offender, trafficking minors. This Democrat says, but he was a constituent. He was texting with her, telling her what to ask Michael Cohen, and they used this to go after Trump under these false criminal charges. Democrats are now trying to pin the whole Epstein thing on Trump. Trump saying it's a hoax. I have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. But what I will say is, be it seasonal, be it fatigue, be it just an off year, people are pretty detached from politics right now. And based on this story not getting nearly as much attention as it is, maybe I don't have to be worried just because it's an off-cycle year and people don't really pay attention. But I can't believe this is not a front-page headline extra scandal. Let me show you. This is so there's two components to the scandal. A failed effort to censure Democrats over texts with Epstein. More importantly, that some Republicans cut a backroom deal with the Democrats to protect this woman who colluded with Jeffrey Epstein. It is shocking. It should be disqualifying for all the Republicans involved, and every Democrat voted to protect her. I'm going to stress this. During a hearing, this is Stacey Plaskett from the Virgin Islands. She, quote, represented Jeffrey Epstein. He texted her about specific names to ask about because Epstein knew about Trump's inner workings to a certain degree, and she did not, and she was using this information to smear Donald Trump. Fascinating. Epstein hated Trump. And Democrats are trying to act like they were friends, but no, actually, now the emails released prove he did not like Trump at all, and they were working with him the whole time. Listen to this.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation. See
what you just did right there?
He was not under federal.
This was February, I believe it was February 27th. It was February of 2019. The Miami Herald story broke in 2018. The investigation of which these issues were going on for a long time, and Jeffrey Epstein had already served time for soliciting a minor for prostitution and got a sweetheart deal. There are some speculating that she was in the pocket of Epstein, that she worked for him, that she was the delegate because he put the money up to make sure that would happen. And that's why she wasn't just colluding, he was telling her what to do. But now what's just one last point. They were going to just censure her. That's it. You know what that means? That means they're going to wiggle their finger at her.
Yep.
And they couldn't even do that because I believe it was 3 Republicans cut a backroom deal to protect a woman working with Epstein. This is insane that they tried to use against Trump, did it themselves, and then several Republicans defected to protect her.
The funny thing is, we were just talking about like your default status of like not trusting politicians. This is why. Like weasel words used to get yourself out of trouble. This is why people have a default status to just not trust anything a government official says, because more often than not, you're going to be right. If you're maybe they're not always lying, but are they always self-interested? Yes, absolutely.
And it goes beyond just one party. Clearly, this is something where Congress will protect Congress because they're hoping that when I need that vote, they'll vote for me. But in this case, she's not. I don't think she's not even a voting member, right? She's. It's the Virgin Islands. I don't know that she even gets to vote on bills.
I got a question for you guys. Phil, you're a rock star. When you have issues related to high-profile hearings about former presidents, current presidents, or frontrunners for the presidency, when you text your member of Congress advice, do they usually just agree with it? Do they give you any pushback and say it's not appropriate, or
They tend not to reply. they tend to ignore me.
You actually have their phone numbers?
Not their phone numbers. I will send a message to the office and say I generally don't get it
when you go to this hearing.
Texting an actual personal line.
That's strange. I mean, what about the rest of you? When you text your member of Congress, how does the conversation usually go?
I get them on WhatsApp.
Yeah, well, they don't respond to my texts unless I'm in prison. Then they're all about like, I need this guy's advice, and then they want to hear me.
That's probably the go-to. So get yourself arrested, and then.
The point, of course, is she's saying, he was just my constituent.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I text my member of Congress well, to be fair, Riley Moore's a friend of the show. So.
True.
But the point is weasel words. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Weasel words when she says stuff like this, and this is why people don't trust politicians.
Riley replies because he wants to be able to still use the skate park. That's why he actually will reply.
Well, he needs to come skate, Riley.
Is there any word who the Republican members were that were part of this backdoor deal to protect her?
There was a story about it, but like I didn't see. I mean, we could pull the list. It was because I didn't get the names. We could pull up the list of names. Tim Burchett's roasting them, saying a handful of Republicans took a dive on a vote to strip Stacey Plaskett of her position on House Intel because of her ties to Epstein. They did it to protect a Republican facing his own ethics issues from a similar vote. This backroom deal-ish is swampy, wrong, and always deserves to be called out. This is wild. Nancy Mace called it a backroom deal. Democrats are on TV protecting this woman who was literally taking instruction from Jeffrey Epstein to go after Donald Trump. Yeah. And 3 Republicans concerned with Rep. Corey Mills' ethics issues decided to protect Epstein. I got questions.
It is crazy that they started framing Donald Trump as bad by using Jeffrey Epstein as like the example of saying like, well, Jeffrey Epstein said he's bad, so he must be bad. Like, it takes one bad guy to know another, I suppose.
Well, think about that for a moment, right? Because it was Trump's bad because he's best friends with Epstein. Now it's Trump's bad because Epstein hates him.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have it both ways, man. And it's even crazier to me that people will try to defend this, and the same people that try to defend this are the people that regularly morally grandstand about how much empathy they have, and they care about everybody, but they completely ignore the fact that this thing that took place was 11 years after Epstein was charged with child crimes.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just want the W, man. They just want the win.
It's just about a vector of attack.
Yeah.
They don't like President Trump, so they can go ahead and use, if they can use basically anything that they can use to attack him, they're going to use.
By the way, at this point, when we look at Epstein's body of work, is it considered anti-Semitic to criticize it? Or are we allowed to do it?
I don't.
Depends on what side of Twitter you're on.
Okay.
Depends on why you're criticizing him. If you're criticizing him because of him being friendly with Donald Trump, then it's anti-Semitic. If you're criticizing him when he was attacking Donald Trump, well, then no, it's not anti-Semitic.
That makes perfect sense.
It does.
I appreciate those rules.
Don Bacon, Lance Gooden, and David Joyce. So that's Nebraska, Texas, and Ohio. And then there were 3 who voted present: Andrew Garbarino, Dan Mauser, and Jay Obernolte.
Like that guy who voted not to release the Epstein files.
That one dude.
That one guy.
That one dude.
What was his name?
He's from Louisiana?
Yep.
It's like, dude, read the room. Like, realize you're going to be the
He looks
only
at the
one.
vote. He looks at
You're
the
going to
votes later.
stand out.
That's like going to like a skating ring when you're a kid for a birthday party, and you go in and there's no one there, and you're like, this is the right place.
It was Clay Higgins, right?
Clay Higgins, yeah.
Yeah, Clay Higgins
Republican from Louisiana.
voted not to release the Epstein files. I don't know.
That guy better have just there better be
Where's he
0
from?
skeletons in any closet for that guy because he's.
His argument was that it could harm innocent people.
You sure it wasn't that his constituents would be upset if they released the documents with their names in it?
I mean, possibly. But
and the victims have come out and said that they don't even mind if their names are redacted or not.
there
They
were
just
victims
want it to
that
come out.
this is something that I continue to mention. There were victims 2 months ago or so, 3 months ago, that said if they don't release the Epstein files, we're going to get together our own list because the victims, blah blah blah. Where's this list?
What has prevented them from doing that?
So on that, the question I always have is, like when Marjorie Taylor Greene has all the victims together and they're doing talk to the camera thing, you got all the news organizations there. What stops the victims from just naming names? Like they're there on camera, the news isn't gonna, like, it's
Is it a
live.
defamation thing? Like, is it literally they're afraid of getting sued by very, very powerful people?
The only thing I can think of is they fear for their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can get sued if you're making an accurate accusation at a child predator.
But if there's no proof, like unless it's the documents are the only place where proof exists, and there's no other proof, then you're making a claim that
this
can't be.
This is going to set a lot of people on fire. But it's possible that they don't actually have anything to produce.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that a lot of people are like talking about, this person's on the list, that person's on the list, et cetera, et cetera. And it seems like this is more of a threat and a way to basically slime people than any kind of actual legitimate substantial threat. Even Elon Musk said, Donald Trump is on the Epstein list.
Right.
They're hanging out again.
What does on the list mean?
Sure.
Does it mean that that was a list of people that he was blackmailing, or is it just the list of people that have been to the island?
Well, the term has become amorphous now, right? Like you don't even know what it means.
Absolutely.
Like because one of the things that the media was doing for the last several months before they got onto the current train of thought that they have was anytime documents would come out and somebody's like, I was there, Donald Trump was not there. Like Trump was mentioned in documents, which is just them saying that he wasn't there, which is just a way to frame it and make it a bigger case than it is.
That's what it seems like to me. That because nothing has actually materialized that's actionable in any way. It seems like it's just people making threats and using the phrase Epstein list to slime people and to either take heat off themselves or to make accusations that they don't ever have any intent of producing anything substantial there.
It also proves how petty Elon Musk is that he made that tweet that long ago and then now they're back hanging out again.
Maybe. I mean,
I think Elon was emotional during that tweet.
Petty.
He was
Petty and emotional.
that was nuts.
Yeah.
I would never describe Elon as petty and emotional.
No, buying Twitter wasn't petty.
I'm kidding. Elon is, if you took a guy, well, if you took a computer nerd and just cranked all of his emotions to 11, I feel like you get Elon. You know?
Him fighting with Billie Eilish about how he should spend his money. I was like, you don't have to respond, bro.
You know, I got to be honest. I was. You know what I think it is. You know what I think it is. It's happening. I think we were under the boot of a deep state for a long time, and that the views on social media and the ratings on TV were all fake. I think that Mockingbird probably went crazier than people realized, and media was much more controlled than people realized, and the internet kind of broke the machine. Because I've been. You know, right now there's a big behind the scenes for those that are curious in media right now. One of the big concerns is ad rates are way down when they should not be, and viewer count is way down when it should not be. And I'm not just talking about politics. People have been highlighting that there are certain sporting events and hobby YouTube where it's like the views seem low right now, which is odd considering it's getting cold. So and we're near the end of the year, which means ad rates should be going up and views should be going up, but we're seeing many people reporting views are down and ad rates are going down along with it. I can't speak to viewers for the most part. They've dipped a little bit. I think for the most part, we've been stable, but ad rates for sure have gone down. I've been talking with a lot of people in media about this phenomenon. What do they think is happening? I think it's largely due to economics and potentially lack of children coming in as older people go out. But part of the conversation is that when we're tracking metrics from other big tech platforms, the one thing we've all started to notice is that they all seem fake. It all seems fake. The numbers are not behaving like humans. We've come to a point right now. I mean, Trump nukes USAID, this slush fund money starts disappearing, and all of a sudden, we see a divergence in the behavior and revenue streams and audience totals as if something was artificially creating a track. Something was artificially making sure certain channels got views and money and certain channels didn't get views and money. And now the data seems to be acting strangely. And for the season, going down. I wonder if. Actually, let me put it like this. You may think I am paranoid, but I will remind you of when Elon Musk announced he put a bid in for Twitter before it was X. Liberals started bleeding followers. Their follower counts were collapsing and conservatives were skyrocketing. And everyone said, how is that possible? Liberals said, oh, it's because everyone's fleeing to other platforms. That wasn't true. So what was happening that made conservatives gain followers? And the response was, people are coming back. No, that doesn't make sense. Millions of people just saw a news report, Elon to buy Twitter, maybe, and they said, guess I'll sign up. I don't think so.
No.
People following liberals on social media, on X, or on Twitter at the time, said, what, Elon might buy the platform? Better leave right now. The theory was that the U.S. government had some kind of, they had a backdoor into these platforms. That we know is true. And as soon as it looked like Elon was getting Twitter, they said, quick, burn the evidence. Flicked the switch on whatever weird algorithm was propping up these fake numbers, switching everything, collapsing their fake system. My point ultimately is with Elon, the reason I bring this up is Elon's a weird dude. He does not behave, CEOs behave. And I think it's because for the most part, they've always been fake. Everybody knows, Deepwater Horizon happens and then you get the BP guy, we're sorry. I can tell you this. I'd be willing to actually place a wager on the next time there's some kind of disaster. I'll be like, oh, bro, I will write verbatim the speech from the CEO based on the disaster. We know exactly what they're going to say. It's fake. It's plastic. Nobody believes them. Things are changing now. Elon Musk is behaving in very strange ways. It seems like not just with Elon, but with many other facets of our social infrastructure, we're starting to see real people, real numbers, and the machine state that was kind of smoothing things over to create appearances is losing control and kind of disappearing.
I mean, Elon is an example of somebody who's made his brand every bit as much about him as the companies that he runs, but that's not necessarily how the rest of the Fortune 500. I read so much about like David Zaslav and David Ellison and all of these CEOs in the entertainment companies, and they all talk the exact same.
We're not talking in
synergy.
absolutes. I'm not claiming that the old world ceased to exist. I'm saying that the machine machine state that smoothed things over is waning, and we are starting to see the emergence of real people, real numbers, real metrics, and it defies our expectation because we have lived in a bot-dead internet forever. That is, my theory is, and maybe I'll speak a little bit more on the uncensored portion of the show to avoid potential litigation, but I will keep it somewhat vague that there are prominent social media platforms whose numbers don't make sense and don't track onto other platforms, implying they are using bots. And as we've already pointed out numerous times in the past, it is a fact that prominent social media sites use bots to prop up viewer count. I'll give you an example. It is known that the CEO, the co-founders of Reddit, when they first launched the site, created fake accounts, sock puppets, to interact with users so they would believe there was real engagement on the platform. They faked it. This has been the case for many big social media platforms. I think what's happening now with, people have complained like, why are my views down? When Elon bought Twitter, they were like, my views are down now. And it's like, maybe because they were never there in the first place. Yeah. And what was happening was there was a machine state that said, if someone says something that's anti-Trump, pump it up. If someone says something that is pro-Trump, drop it down. Elon comes in, and they're like, quick, run for the hills. And now people are going, why are my numbers different? Why are my subscriber, growth different?
And there's no question the big tech companies, Twitter before Elon and Zuckerberg, YouTube, they've all had a political agenda. That's just so obvious. You look at the Twitter files, the Biden administration instructing them on who and what to censor. It would make sense. Not only are they like censoring conservatives, but doing the fake optics to make their side who supports their agenda, fake optics make them look, more popular, which then helps them gain more popularity. So to me, what you're saying, theoretically, it makes sense.
Yeah, I remember prior to Elon Musk, getting Twitter, and switching it to X, I remember I would log in and my feed would just, every single profile picture was just a politician with their little tie on, and it was a statement, and it had 100,000 likes and no engagement. And I remember everything I was seeing, I would have to pretty much mute things like that because it would be my entire feed. And then you have this, like Tim said, this machine kind of collapsing. And then at the same time, in my opinion, you have people trying to gravitate, especially after COVID, like what me and Phil were talking about, after seeing all the fakeness and all of what I call corpo speak, you see people gravitating towards real people that have real emotions and real reactions to things, and they don't try to hide these things. And yeah, it can be a little coarse sometimes, but people want realness. They're tired of hearing we're sorry you feel that way. I had I've been in a spat with YouTube the past 2 days because they started
charging you.
They started charging me every day.
Is it actually like they're charging you? Like you will get like less money?
Yeah. So, my revenue was supposed to be like a couple $1,000s, and I checked it, and it was pretty much zero. And I was like, what's going on? And it was just, I've never had a negative day in 7 years on YouTube. And it was like negative 200, negative 98, negative 140, negative. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the end of my life. It's over. And, YouTube keeps telling me to talk to, the customer support. And they're just like, they don't even know what I'm talking. They don't even know what I'm referring to. Right. And, YouTube finally emailed me after it was trending all day today. But, it's pretty devastating watching your revenue go down. And that's the thing, is people are tired of hearing. It's one thing to watch
it go down. It's another thing to be like, you owe us money.
Yeah, it was like negative. It was like negative. And I was like,
dude, your AdSense is terrible. Cody, you are like, you're costing us money.
What's your average? My average view duration is negative 30 seconds.
You could make the argument that if what you were looking at before was bots and a corporate structure that was designed to make everything look more popular than it was, then you had a bunch of neoliberal company owners or even leftist company owners who then, once that was kind of pulled apart when Elon bought X and they had to pivot, now they're all like, you know what, we're kind of free. I'm kind of a free speech advocate myself over here at Meta. And Mark Zuckerberg starts doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu and pretending like he's human. Like we're at a point now where they're trying to actually manufacture authenticity where it's not even really there.
That's a great point,
and be real, the conservatives fell for it. They're like, I like that Mark Zuckerberg guy now because he kind of acting like a real person.
He is the most spineless person I've ever met. I would have more respect for the guy if once Trump took office, he still stood for censorship. Like, yeah, this is like, I don't agree with that, but if he authentically believed it, I can respect a guy who stands for what he believes in. But as soon as Trump takes office, he's just like so spineless. Like, yeah, we should definitely, have free speech and open this up. It's like, you believe in nothing, you autistic guy.
That was his kind of stance. Like back in the day, right? He thought he would come across as a libertarian kind of minded dude, and before
supposedly Jack Dorsey as well.
Yeah,
back in the day,
and
right?
actually Jack Dorsey, like when he sold Blue Sky because Blue Sky became what it is, and he's like, I can't. He's just like, I can't with these people.
So he brought Vine back instead.
Yeah, and not to say that I think that he's particularly principled or anything like that, but I do think that the pressure from the government, like when the government says, hey, we need you to do this, even just making the remark, we want you to do this, that everybody feels like it's a threat. If you get a letter from the IRS, everybody's like, oh,
The guy's like, sure would be a shame if you got audited.
Yeah, it's like if the eye of Sauron looks at you, you start sweating. And that's really kind of what the government is. So not that I'm making excuses or whatever, but it is understandable to be Mark Zuckerberg with one of the biggest companies in the world, and then the federal government's like, hey, maybe you should help us out. And obviously he got wrapped up and allowed them to do things that he shouldn't have. And it is good that he said, okay, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't do this. He should have stood on principle earlier and not let them do that. But I do understand how, the government saying, hey, we want you to do this, what that kind of does to basically anybody.
I would probably cave.
I mean,
We got big news from Donald Trump. He has signed the Epstein release. It's happening. There's going to be nothing in it. We'll be bored, and I'm bored now. But Donald Trump has truthed. He truthed a lot. It's long. Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats, was a lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat politicians, and was deeply associated with many well-known Democrat figures, such as Bill Clinton, who traveled on his plane 26 times, Larry Summers, who just resigned from many boards, including Harvard, sleazebag political activist Reid Hoffman, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who asked Epstein to donate to his campaign after Epstein was charged, Democrat Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, and many more. Perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associates with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed, because I have just signed the bill to release the Epstein files. As everyone knows, I asked Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass the bill in the House and the Senate, respectively. Because of this request, the votes were almost unanimous in favor of the passage. At my direction, the Department of Justice has already turned over close to 50,000 pages of documents to Congress. Do not forget, the Biden administration did not turn over a single file or page related to Democrat Epstein, nor did they ever speak about him. Democrats have used the Epstein issue, which affects them far more than the Republican Party, in order to try and distract from our amazing victories, including the great big beautiful tax cut bill, strong borders, no men in women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, lowering prices, biggest tax and regulation cuts in history, ending 8 wars, rebuilding our military, knocking out Iran's nuclear capability, getting trillions of dollars invested in the USA, creating the hottest country anywhere in the world, and even delivering a huge defeat to the Democrats on the recent shutdown disaster. For years, our great nation has had to endure Russia, Ukraine, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, and many other Democrat-created witch hunts and scams, all of which have been so terrible and divisive for our country, have been done to confuse, deflect, and distract from the great job that Republicans and the Trump administration are doing. This latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats, just as all of the rest have. Thank you again for your attention to this matter. Make America great again.
Nobody can glaze Donald Trump like Donald Trump can glaze Donald Trump. They're like nobody. Like he can go ahead and glaze other people, and he's great at it. Like when someone's nice to him, he'll glaze you. But like, man, when he's talking about himself, look out. He is unstoppable. Look at how great I am.
In my mind, he does that with voice to text. He's so old.
Well, he does it with voice to actual person typing. He tells someone that he doesn't type. Donald Trump is a hunt and pecker.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he's not using this. He's doing this. That's why
I wouldn't be surprised if he's never had his fingers on a keyboard in his life. Just always has
seriously.
a secretary assistant around.
I do think that he does a little bit of this, like Koveffi was this, the thumbs, but otherwise he's a hunt and pecker, and he's telling someone else what to tweet.
So I think, it really surprised me a couple months ago when Trump came out hard trying to protect the Epstein files. I mean, he got really vicious, really attacking his followers as well. I'm surprised and pleasantly surprised that he's flipped in supporting this. I don't think it's a good look that he flipped. I think it's a much better look than if he kept his heels dug into hey, there's nothing to see with Epstein. But to his credit, he flipped when he should have. I don't think he ever should have had his heels dug in. But I am surprised by all this.
Well, it could have been 4D chess. So the first thing you could do, Trump can say anything on earth. He could say, it's really good for you to jump off a cliff, and these crazy activists are going to go immediately jump off a cliff face first to prove, everybody was taking, the Tylenol or whatever, down to a whole bottle. It's going to be great. And I'm like, oh, why did you die? Well, that's why. Because they were like, I was trying.
Why did you die?
You died to own the chuds.
You mean the other way? You mean if Trump came out and said, don't jump off a cliff, they'd be like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, they'd be like, watch. You know what I'm saying? They'd be all over it. And that's what I'm saying is maybe when this started rolling, he's like, actually, who cares about the Epstein files? And then all the Dems immediately were like,
wait.
Release them.
You're saying he pulled the classic Babylon Bee, ingenious move, Trump comes out in support of impeachment, forcing Democrats to oppose?
Yeah.
He's basically he wants the Epstein files released because it'll make Democrats look bad. So he goes, no, wait, don't. And they're like, oh, now we're going to do it. And then he's like, okay.
He should just say he hates himself on radio.
Yeah.
Everybody like, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him now.
He might have got the idea for that 4D chess Epstein thing from the Babylon Bee.
Well, if it's fourth dimensional, it implies there's some passage through time. So maybe his future self or Barron from the future came back and gave him this information. You guys are familiar with the Ingersoll, what was it? Ingersoll Lockwood? Was that the name of the books? Barron Trump. You guys don't know about this stuff?
No.
What are you doing, bro?
Oh, yeah. I've heard a little bit about that.
Yeah. That there are books from the late 1800s about Barron Trump becoming, just for real.
It's nuts.
That anarchists and socialists march from the financial district of Manhattan towards Fifth Avenue to Castle Trump. Somebody was just doing ancient 1800s DMT and saw the future or something. Yeah, let me pull this one up. Actually, let's ask our friend Grack. Tell me
Barron Trump a time traveler?
Barron Trump time travel books.
You can slip through
What goes
reality
along with the
sometimes,
Trump being a time traveler?
Donald Trump is a time traveler?
Obscure children's novels written by American author Ingersoll Lockwood. I didn't believe this was real when this story broke. I was like, this is not possible. The stories feature a young protagonist named Barron Trump. Yeah, full name Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian von Trump. Who embarks on fantastical journeys that involve elements of time displacement, underground worlds, and global exploration. While the books themselves are whimsical Victorian-era fiction, similar to the style of Gulliver's Travels, they've exploded in popularity due to the eerie parallels. So what is it? There's one where it's called The Last President, I think it's called, right? Trump as a time traveler. Theorists link the books to Nikola Tesla's papers, allegedly reviewed by Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, an MIT engineer, who supposedly hid time displacement tech from Tesla's estate in 1943. Trump is said to have used it to go back and influence history.
Wait, when were they written?
What if the Mandela effect is just Trump going back in time and stepping on bugs?
When were they written?
18-something.
The funnier version of this is that Donald Trump read them and named his son Barron after this just because he read the books.
That could be.
No, he named his son Barron, goes back in time, and then writes about Barron.
I have never seen any evidence that disproves that.
Could happen.
Could.
I want to see what the government says. If they're like, no, that's, I'll be like, okay, yeah, it is real.
Bro, with the power of AI, we can make this very easily, but maybe this is something Seamus could put together for Freedom Tunes, where it's Trump goes back in time, and then he's at the Fruit of the Loom factory, and there's a guy I got an idea for a logo, and then Trump trips and falls, and he crashes, and then the cornucopia just gets splattered with paint. and then in the future just disappears from every label and every tag.
Like the videos, the guys who make fake Fruit of the Loom shirts with the cornucopia and they put them at thrift stores so that people feel
Yeah, I know.
they found them.
It's like Trump goes back and he sees this book, and they're like, "Yeah, we have this book. It's called The Berenstein Bears." He's like, "No, I don't like it."
Okay, so check this out. There's a book called The Last President, written by Ingersoll Lockwood. It is not the Barron Trump novels. The Barron Trump one was fancy, adventures, fanciful adventures. The Last President was a short novella about a populist candidate from New York who wins the presidential election, shocking the establishment. He lives on Fifth Avenue in a gilded mansion. His victory triggers massive riots and protests in New York, with mobs marching down Fifth Avenue, shouting "Down with the rich." The country slides into chaos. Congress is deadlocked. States threaten secession. The Treasury is almost bankrupt, and there are fears the Republic itself will end. This is prophecy. I'm sorry. Trump went back in time, and he's like, "Let me tell you about my son Barron. He was magical. He went underground and met gnomes."
Well, none of that's true because Trump said prices are down and everything's hunky-dory now.
The incoming president is sworn in on March 4th, the old inauguration date. The book ends on a dark, ambiguous note with the fate of the nation hanging in the balance. Many readers interpret the title literally. He is the last president of the United States as we know it. What if, the real reason Democrats keep saying Trump wants to be a dictator is not because of anything Trump said, but because they think this book is prophecy? And they're like, Trump's going to be the last president. He's not going to give up.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's a common thing, though. Every single time there's the Republican candidate and there's the Dem candidate. The Dem candidate will always claim that if the Republican candidate wins, it will be the last presidential election ever. They've been saying this since I was a kid, so it goes in that way.
They will never relinquish power except for when they do.
I asked, is Steve Bannon Barron from the future? And Grok says, no, Steve Bannon is not Barron from the future, but the internet wishes he was. There's a meme where people are saying that the Trumps have time travel technology, and then Barron comes back. I guess it only made sense. The meme made sense before Barron was 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm on board with the whole thing. I love this. This explains reality so well.
I like the idea that the Mandela effect is just Donald Trump going back in time and stepping on bugs.
Just accidentally.
Yeah.
It's like butterfly effect.
Yeah.
He swats a fly, and this changes the course. Like Nelson Mandela survives.
It's a good meme.
Well, it's a Simpsons episode, so as most jokes are at this point, there's nothing we can do about it. They've written everything.
They've been on for so long,
You know what would be funny? It's like Nostradamus was really dumb, but people think he's prophetic. And no matter what he wrote, people always find a reason why it applies to now and not then. It would be funny if, in 100 years, people think The Simpsons is prophecy because how much it got right. And they just scrub through episodes looking for hidden messages of the future.
I mean, and with The Simpsons, there's also odds, even if it's not prophetic in some mystical way, it's got to be over 1,000 episodes at this point. The show's been on for well over 30 years.
It's way more than that.
Way more.
Yeah, I think it's 2,000 or 3,000.
So
It's a lot.
a couple thousand episodes. There is so much content there. They will at least accidentally look like they're prophesizing quite a bit.
Oh, wait. No, it's 799.
That's it?
Yeah.
When did it start?
Oh,
So their hit rate is really good then.
That's not that much at all.
Started in 1989?
37 seasons.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot less than I thought. I thought it was a couple thousand already. I thought they had
If it was going to be anything, it would be soap operas that would be hitting it out of the park because there's been 10,000 of every one of those episodes.
Yeah.
Every single day. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Well, we should actually look into it. Maybe they have
They
problems.
at least somebody has ended up sleeping with their wife's twin sister by accident, not realizing who it was.
By accident. Oops.
So what do you think? Why do you think it is that he spent so much time denying this? He's talking about all of the wins they've had. He's talking about the damage that all of this conversation has made.
Because he has time travel technology, he knows what to say to influence future events.
Yep.
Well, he comes from a future where he denied it the whole time, but it didn't work. So he came back and said, I accept this.
This is the sci-fi that hurts my brain. I don't like this type of sci-fi.
So
All time travel sci-fi can end up hurting your brain.
when Epstein went to prison, I guess for the second and final time, Trump was in office then. Is that correct?
It would have been 2019? The end of 2019?
So Trump was in office. something I was thinking about earlier today, like his FBI, his DOJ, and granted they were kind of like enemies of him, but it was still under the Trump administration. If they were doing some cover-ups, maybe Epstein was an informant for the CIA, working for them, Mossad, whatever it is, that's a really bad look. And if that happened under Trump's administration in his first term, that could be a reason why he was wanting to cover up the Epstein files.
Because he was like an informant for the CIA?
Yeah, and even if it's not under Trump's direction, it's like, well, the CIA is under your administration.
You tell that to the government, we're like, bro, we hired Nazi scientists. Are you kidding me? Like,
Operation
we'll work with
Paperclip.
anybody here. Like, if it means we can win, we'll work with the worst of the worst.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the like realpolitik, right? Like if it gives you an advantage, it doesn't matter what they do. And that is standard operating procedure for the United States. We've, funded some of the worst terrorists in modern history and worked with some of the most terrible people. Like the president of Syria was just in the White House, and there are pictures of him holding people's heads up from when he was a freedom fighter, actually a member of Al Qaeda.
So there's no question that the way it works is you do some shady stuff, but they also like to conceal that. They don't like that publicized.
There's the meme that's like, isn't it funny how every 20 years something horrible comes out about the CIA and they say, lol, we did that. Never mind. And then people just forget and go back to pretending like stuff like that never happened.
Yeah, I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and you can just drive down, and every building has a name on it, and it's just a Nazi,
Just a what?
like an old Nazi scientist.
Oh,
wow.
Jesus.
You know what I'm
Oh, well,
saying?
that's right, because Huntsville has quite the NASA
Yeah,
presence.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought all the Nazis went to Argentina.
we got a few of them
My
in Alabama.
surprise. To my surprise.
By the way, Cody, you have not publicly condemned the Nazis during this conversation, so
That's
maybe you're
pretty
one of them.
shady, bro.
That
There's,
proves it.
there's very good people on both sides.
There's very fine people on both sides, right?
Careful, man. Or Media Matters is going to be like, and
Cut.
Cody Dennison was
Don't
like,
worry. They're going to be like that anyways.
Let's jump to this next story. We got this from Axios. Democratic Rep Sheila Sherphillis McCormick indicted. Can you believe it? A Democrat indicted. You know what, guys? I can't do it. Let's talk about this. Winter storm warning is 24 inches of snow to hit. This is infinitely more interesting to me at this point. I got to be honest that a winter storm is coming. Maybe I'll go skiing. But no, the real story is, yes, a Democrat funneled $5 million stolen from FEMA, according to the indictment, to her company and to her congressional campaign. Heavens me, a Democrat cheated and stole money from the government to get elected. One of the big theories that many individuals have had is that USAID funds were being shuffled around through what they would do is they would hire some lawyers or some nonprofits. Then those nonprofits would make donations to foundations, which would funnel the money to a PAC, which would then work to get a Soros DA or Democrat elected. I am not surprised to find out that the DOJ has now indicted someone who stole, allegedly, $5 million in FEMA payments to fund her congressional campaign.
Look, the closing of USAID was one of the worst things to happen to the Democrat Party in probably modern history. And I think that this kind of stuff is strong circumstantial evidence, at least.
Yeah, well, you had things like professional hula hoop dancing in Zimbabwe, $10 million. And I'm like, that wasn't going to the Zimbabwe guy. That was going to somebody else to fund their campaign.
To some
and to be
Democrat.
honest, it kind of seems like I should go into politics because that's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
And what if maybe you won't get caught?
You know what the weirdest thing to me about all these politicians is just it's not good money. I mean, technically, if you're like for half of members of Congress, you don't make that much money. You're not gonna make a lot. If you're famous like AOC, soon as she leaves, I think people are already assuming she's probably well off now because she's got the opportunity to speaking events or whatever it is. I don't know if she actually does that stuff, but you look at the Pelosi's and it's like, come on,
Pelosi
a couple $100 million. Yeah, come on. But for the most part, I see a lot of members of Congress, and I'm like, why fight so hard and work so incessantly for nothing? And I got just to clarify, there are members of Congress I think actually believe in what they're doing, but a lot of these guys just seem to be cutting backroom deals for nothing.
Yeah, and I agree, but also I think for some of them, power is the currency that they're after. And also, maybe all of them have the opportunity to get wealthy, whether it's through above board means or below board means. But also, some of them, while they might be power hungry, they're also just stupid people. Like a lot of these folks, they haven't run successful businesses. Some of them are lifelong politicians, which kind of says like, well, all right, you don't know how to do much else, but you're after power.
Well, that's what AOC is going to be.
Bernie.
You know, she was a bartender beforehand. I don't think that she had any other serious employment, and she, you know, got into her seat because there was a runoff election or whatever, something. I think I'm not sure the specifics, but she's not going to do anything else. She's going to be in politics for the rest of her life.
That means they're not the stupid people. That means that they're like, I'm dumb and I'm making a ton of money. It's like the things like, who's the smartest teacher at a school? Is it and everybody says the science teacher? No, it's the gym teacher, because they get to make all the same money that the science teacher does, and they just get to play in the gym all day.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, they're very smart at making money despite being stupid.
Yeah.
I think it's insane that it's 2025 and probably over 80% of people or Americans agree that there needs to be some form of term limits, and it still hasn't existed.
So I'm not one of the people that agrees about term limits, because I think that when you're dealing with Congress, who's, you know, every 2 years, like everyone hates Congress, but everyone hates Congress except for their own specific congressperson. The thing that they hate about Congress is there's 435 members and they find it difficult to agree and it's hard to get things passed. And really, when they say, oh, I hate Congress because they don't get anything done, for the most part, they're saying, I hate the fact that the things that I want don't get done. Because if there were a bunch of stuff getting done that they hated, you know, they'd be like, oh, I hate Congress because they're doing all these things that negatively affect my life. The problem is the federal government is not supposed to be doing probably 90% of the things that it does, you know, and a lot of the power that Congress has had, they've abdicated, right? Like the power to declare war, or when it comes to, you know, any kind of international conflict, Congress has the power to do that stuff. But they don't want to, because if they vote on something, then they have to face their constituents. So that's why they give the power to the president and said, oh, you know, let's go ahead and give the president an authorization to use military force. And the president, multiple presidents have now used that AUMF to justify whatever they want to do internationally whenever it comes to the military. So it's I do understand why people would say, well, term limits would fix this, but I don't think term limits would actually fix anything. I don't think that it would make people happy, because I don't think that people have a clear understanding of what it is that they're unhappy about with Congress.
I think term limits, I agree, it wouldn't fix everything. I don't think it would fix most things. But one thing it would fix is when you have a puppet up there like Feinstein or Mitch McConnell, where people are literally playing Weekend at Bernie's. I think there's a little deception there where, yes, they are the ones elected to represent their constituents, but also they don't seem to be running the show at their office.
Here's another one where I'm going to take a ton of heat from the chat for saying this. As much as people want to go ahead and dog on Mitch McConnell is the reason why the conservatives have been able to, why President Trump and conservatives have had the ability to appoint so many judges to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has done a lot of things that conservatives
But just one. He blocked Garland.
He blocked Garland, but
So he got them the 6-3 instead of the 5-4.
Yeah, the 6-3, which I don't know what the specific what the things were that happened when it was just 6-3, but Mitch McConnell really did know the House very well, and he's a significant reason why a lot of the policies that conservatives like were passed.
Trump should have put Matt Gaetz on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, Phil, you clearly work for Israel. I hate you. How dare you say anything kind about Mitch McConnell? What is
$7,000 for that?
Oh God, yeah, right.
It's
I literally
close enough
heard
to
his
Israel.
I heard his Cash App go off.
Yeah,
It's Apple Pay,
is.
actually.
There it is. Yeah.
Apple Pay chime.
But no, I mean, seriously, like I get it's popular to dog out Congress and stuff, but a lot of people, they don't understand the way that the government works. This is part of the reason why people are so upset with Trump for a lot of things, right? They're like, Trump hasn't done enough, Trump hasn't done this, Trump hasn't done that. And it's because the president doesn't have unilateral authority to just walk in and say, do this, do this, do this. He's done a lot of the things that he has the power to do, he's done. And he's set in motion to get a lot of the things that he made promises this is about. He set things in motion. Now, granted, he hasn't just wrapped up a bunch of people and thrown them in jail, but that's not a realistic expectation. And again, I know that I'm not even looking at the chat right now. I know I'm getting excoriated for saying this, but no one likes to know how the sausage is made. No one spends time looking into, why does Congress do the things they do?
To be fair, back in the day when butchers made real sausage, everybody was interested. But now that saying largely refers to when they throw the cow into a giant grinder that turns it into a pink paste and then squeeze it into a tube of intestines, nobody wants to watch that happen. My point is, if you go way back in the day, people were very interested in the honest functioning of our government electoral representatives, and now it's all crooked, corrupt, and busted, and everybody hates it.
I also think that a part of it is like right now with the economy being the way that it is, that people might be more forgiving of him not putting people in prison, despite the fact that we know that that's not a realistic expectation for a lot of it. They might be focusing on that less if they felt like the economy was doing better, which, he keeps saying is doing great, and, Wall Street is doing great. And a lot of people are like, yeah, that's not true, bro. Like,
oh, wait, this came out the other day. This is Thomas Massey's first bill to be signed by Trump.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
He doesn't know yet. He finds out. He's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, they can keep calling me a pedophile. I don't care. Massey gets nothing.
I mean, Trump's been insulting Massey in non-political ways,
It's
bad look.
Man, and Thomas Massey, is he maybe the most beloved member of Congress?
I don't know. The core right doesn't like him. The left doesn't care much for him at all, but the libertarians love him. Most of the time when I hear him talk, it's what I wish every politician would say. He's just real. And I love Trump, and I don't love Trump insulting Massey and making him an enemy. I just don't like it. Massey has chickens.
How bad could he be?
That's it.
That's right.
I like that. That's it.
That's the tweet.
That's
And
it.
he went and got a Tesla battery from a car, from a Model S, and he powers his home with it. He's got solar panels. He did it all himself.
The actual point I was going to make is, aside from the joke that just having chickens is good enough, but no, he has the Klux capacitor, which is he built this chicken coop that slowly moves, and so the chickens always have fresh grass.
Oh, that's cool.
Wild. This guy's crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Phil, do you want to offer a retraction on your freaking McConnell statement yet?
No,
Dude, you were sticking. Okay.
I don't.
That's who you are.
Generally, the idea is that Massey won't vote for anything that expands the debt in this country, right?
And he's right. It's wild that we are we live in a house where mom and dad keep racking up debt on the credit card and arguing over how much more they can spend on a credit card, and we're just sitting here being like, sooner or later the bill comes due.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing it with inflation. Right now the median income, I looked it up, is $83,000. That doesn't mean people have more money to buy stuff with. It means everything's more expensive.
The median The median income in America?
Yeah.
Wow.
Trump's strategy, and he said this before, is to be under-leveraged, meaning he doesn't care if inflation is high so long as individual income is higher. So that means the prices of houses are going to reach $1 million, but don't worry, Gen Z. Hopefully, of $1 million salary at some point, then you can buy a house in a year or two.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the game plan. We're all going to be Scrooge McDuck with Zimbabwe dollars, but don't worry, we'll have enough of them to buy things.
When I first moved down here, an ounce of gold was like $2,000, $2,100. And gold is now $4,000, and that was 3 years ago.
Wow. $4,084. What's silver at? $51. I got this thing of silver right here. Wow.
Gold is a really good indicator because it's basically a store of value. If you buy gold, the price of gold compared to the dollar generally stays the same. But, the government isn't going to stop printing money. And they're probably going to end up printing a lot of money to pay the debt. And the dollar is just going to, crash. And hopefully it doesn't crash too hard.
Yeah.
And
they're going to pass the buck off on whatever the next administration is in office.
Which is, look, Gen Z is really pissed off at the boomers, and Gen Alpha is going to be even more under duress because of it. It's not looking good because the boomers have really been terrible stewards of the economy and terrible stewards of the United States, and they're leaving the younger generation generations, which are significantly smaller than the boomers, like they're leaving them with the responsibility of paying for it. And it's
crazy,
a horrible,
dude.
horrible situation.
Like, because they want to go on a cruise and own 2 homes.
Yeah, they want to own multiple homes and they want to, have a Airbnb it,
I have this stack of silver. Look how beautiful this is. Legit silver. And man, when I bought this stuff, I think it was like $18. That wasn't that long ago.
now?
It's $50.
Yep.
This is $50. This is wow. This is $1,000, right? This is crazy. This whole thing was $200 when I bought it.
Wow,
That is not saying, wow, I made a great investment. My silver has gone up in value. It's saying everything's collapsing around it.
yeah.
Well, actually, I take that back. To be fair, silver is getting more expensive because data centers and electric cars consume a lot of silver, and they're buying it up. So,
Yeah, but
Indeed.
the problems that we're facing, they're all based on economics. Even the influx of immigrants, it's because of the economics of it.
But that's
Because
my point when he's talking about this stuff and he's saying like the economy is doing great and
Oh, yeah.
prices are down. It's like everybody knows that that's not true, and it's like it would be better to just be like, we're working on it.
Yep.
It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to get through it as a country. But instead, pretending like everything is okay.
That's what Biden did.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why Biden lost is because they were telling Americans that were suffering. They were like, no, it's actually okay. The economy's doing fine, et cetera. And Americans are just like, no, like I'm the one that goes and buys my groceries and it's not okay. Like my paycheck doesn't go as far as it used to. It's not okay. It is never a good idea to tell the American people that they are not suffering when they're suffering. Like, you're just not gonna...
Let's jump to this next story, which is going viral on X today. Again, slow news day. Nick Fuentes says the GOP must be destroyed and replaced by a left-right populist coalition. The left has to give up immigration. The right has to give up on the free market. Let's play a little bit of what he has to say. If we can unmute.
It's our way or the highway. You've enjoyed the power and privileges for long enough. Where's ours? Where's our end of the bargain? So I love it. It's time to undermine the GOP. I said it in 2020. The GOP must be destroyed. Has to be utter. And yeah, they're going to say he's a Democrat. He wants the GOP to be destroyed. The GOP serves the interests. The GOP, as presently constructed,
That's what he means.
Right.
serves the interests, the special interests, the donors. Everybody knows that. It
Yeah.
serves Silicon Valley and Little Tech. Palantir, Tesla, SpaceX, Anduril, Oracle. It serves Wall Street. That's why Ken Griffin gave them millions of dollars.
What say you, folks? Should the left and the right join forces? A
No.
populist coalition? Well, if they give up on immigration, they give up on immigration and we give up on a free market, we get to bask in the glory of gender ideology.
Yeah.
What does he mean by the right has to give up on the free market? Like, is he talking about socialism?
Yes,
Then?
he is talking about social programs for Americans, and likely from his perspective, white Americans.
So he's just a leftist.
It's the policy of National Socialism.
I'm not on board with that.
Neither am
See,
I.
this is the issue I take with this like woke right stuff, is that if the argument is Nick Fuentes uses critical race theory and socialist policies and financing, blah blah blah, I'm like, well, that's just the woke left. That's not. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Well, the difference is, there is no difference.
He's wearing a suit.
Yeah, it's that he's a nationalist as opposed to an internationalist, which is the big difference between the communists and the National Socialists, the Nazis.
They're all just socialists.
They were all socialists. They all it's just that it was socialism in the Nazis' policy. It was socialism for the German people. There were all kinds of policies that were instituted that were supposed to help the German people, right? Only the German people. The communists want to see those policies spread throughout the world, and they don't want to see they don't want to see nations. They don't believe that there should be any countries. That's part of why they have the open borders thing, because there should not be any borders. Everybody is people. People are all the same. And so they should all get the same benefits from a one world government.
This is not a woke right. This is the left. This is the Bernie argument. The only difference I see is that, for sure, if you go back and look at Nick's old comments about identity and things like that, people are like, that's woke right. And I'm like, right wing doesn't mean white. Yeah. So the question I have for these people who say woke right is, okay, does right wing mean white? No, it doesn't. Okay, well then Nick Fuentes is just literally a leftist. If his argument is command economies and a coalition with leftists, as long as they abandon other issues like on immigration, Bernie Sanders was critical of open border policies.
But you're talking about economic leftism as in his identity comments will exclude him from any sort of leftist coalition because they're heavily into identity.
It's the same. So the first thing I will say about as we've talked about woke right stuff quite a bit, the principal issue with the argument about the phrase woke right is James Lindsay. He's taken the conversation. I think it was an intentional. The man is famous for infiltrating groups he does not like, tricking them into publishing stupid arguments so they look like morons. He's basically doing this right now, and I would argue it's because he's a fan of Nick Fuentes and he's anti-Israel. And it's funny because I don't understand when people laugh. They laugh when I tell them that, and I just pause and I say, okay, let's try this again. What is James Lindsay famous for? Oh, he infiltrated academic groups on the left and tricked them into publishing things that made them look stupid. Okay, and what's he doing now? He's wholeheartedly and genuinely saying retarded things. I'm like, uh-huh. Or maybe he's doing what he's always done, which is his MO, to infiltrate the neoconservative right-wing faction, trick them into sounding like morons by saying dumb things, so it discredits the arguments against Nick. This was brought up by Rich Barris and what's the fellow's name from Rasmussen? Mitchell? Yeah. They said they're basically making Nick a household name. Why are they doing it? I'm like, well, again, we can go back to the MO of James Lindsay, which is he infiltrated leftist groups, tricked them into giving stupid arguments and being made fun of so that it discredited them. And now here he is aligned with neocons, for which he's never been one, and making them sound like retards. So I have to assume that as Nick is saying things like no free market, and he's very much holds similar views to the left and wants to align with them, I think that's the MO of James to discredit this concept of woke right. I understand the point they're making is that, as you've mentioned, Nick Fuentes' identitarian views, solely because of his race, won't align with the leftist identitarian views, which are anti-white, but right-wing does not mean white. This is literally just a different element of wokeism. It's literally leftist.
Yeah, and yes, his whites are better, and then kind of the left the past handful of years is like non-white is better. But what that has in common is it's a race-based view.
Yeah. Identitarianism.
So I do, yeah. So to me, yeah, it does ring true that he just acts like a leftist.
But I'm not here to have the debate over Nick being left, right, up, down, whatever the stuff means. The question is, the GOP has largely done a bad job, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What we are getting from Donald Trump seems to be surface level scratches on a gigantic steel sphere. We're not cracking to the core and figuring out what's going on. Where's the rot? We're just getting red meat. It's been almost a year now, and what do we have to show for it?
What would you like?
Mortgage fraud indictments?
What would you like to see that? I guess the question here is what is it that people would expect? In a perfect world, he's doing everything exactly the way you want it. What would
I'm specifically referring to the criminal elements of the government and what it means if Trump doesn't succeed in 26 and 28. I'm actually rather happy with his moves on the tariffs, and I think he's done pretty dang well in general policy measures. His immigration raids, we're not getting the numbers we were hoping to see, but that's not his fault. That's the Biden administration's fault. He's doing a pretty good job with ICE, with immigration. I think Pam Bondi is not doing a particularly let me put it this way. I think Pam Bondi is a general net positive, but lacking, and there are much, much better people. I know people have criticisms of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. I don't know if there's anyone who would have been better. Pam Bondi, maybe, to be honest. The Epstein stuff is weird, broken, and they screwed this one up. And that does fall into Kash and Dan as well. But I don't know if you could name someone who would have been better than Kash and Dan. Sorry, it's like if it's not them, then who? Mm-hmm. However, I think Pam Bondi is a C+. I'm not trying to be a dick to Pam Bondi, but she's been like a C+. It's like good, not great. So the Trump administration, in terms of the DOJ, I think could have done a lot better. Perhaps the sad reality is they could not have, and it's wishful thinking. But again, I'll stress policy-wise, I'm actually fairly happy. I think maybe there's always room for improvement. Trump could have done better for sure, but he's doing well. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if you read Trump's Truth Social tweet that we saw a few minutes ago, he's clearly doing very well.
Yeah, he said it right there.
Yeah.
You can tell.
It's like
No
3 extra
debate.
paragraphs in there. Look, I don't imagine that a lot of people it took a large coalition to get him elected, and I imagine a lot of that was based on economics. And those people aren't worried about the arrests. They're not worried about the government rot. They're worried about whether they're going to be able to afford their groceries. So while we would love to see those arrests, and I for one, but we pay attention to politics, right? Like it becomes almost like a spectator sport in which you read so much about this stuff, you pay such close attention, you want to see action happen, and it doesn't necessarily come to pass. But he also needs to pass other things, not just policies, but the grocery prices have to come down. Things have to change. And is that all entirely on him? No, not entirely. It takes a long time. And in a lot of ways, inflation takes forever if it ever goes down at all, right?
Yeah. Well, inflation, the prices aren't going to go down. You need
exactly.
wages to come up to meet the inflation.
It's to stabilize, right? So I don't know if there's a better path forward. I do think that they could be better about getting out the things they've succeeded on, because it feels like what happens, at least if you're on X, and maybe that's just a bubble of your own, is that you get lost in all the people talking about what hasn't happened, and you need to focus on the stuff that has and leave out the stuff that people know is not true, like the grocery prices and the fact that the economy's doing great and all that stuff. You need it. Like the Supreme Court is just one of those many wins. If you want to talk about that, like look what we've done for future generations with our appointments to the Supreme Court. That's something that you can talk about as a win, but he needs to get away from the messaging path that he's on right now.
I mean, just like the fact that the border's closed, Roe v. Wade got overturned, affirmative action was overturned at the Supreme Court, the Voting Rights Act is in question. Like those are things that are directly because of Donald Trump, right? Whether it be policies that he has, which is like the border, he came in, he fixed it. All the Democrats, they swore up and down that nothing could be done. You couldn't do anything. We had to have this big new bill, blah, 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 blah. And turns out, no, all you had to do is actually just have a president that wanted to actually close the border. And look what's happened. The border's closed. And then all the other stuff that the Supreme Court has done, that was all directly because of Donald Trump's appointments to the Supreme Court.
But even the border stuff doesn't necessarily work for him, because people are like, why aren't there more deportations? Why aren't you? Right?
It's true. There are people that are like, why aren't there more? And I'm, one of those people. I want to see more deportations. I want to see, everybody that's here illegally deported. But at the same time, the fact that the border is closed and we have a net decrease in population because of that, because of the border this year.
But then he's like, you know what? H-1B visas, bring them all in. And 600,000. Like he's got.
I'm not saying he's perfect, but the point that I'm making is like he has done a lot of the things that he's made promises to, but part of the reason why people feel unhappy is one, the economy, and two, because they want to see a president come in and say, you're going to jail, you're going to jail, you're going to jail, you're going to jail. And all of that, like that doesn't happen unless you have like an actual authoritarian, president that comes in and says, who cares about the law? We're just going to start tossing people into jail. And there are people that are on the right that they tend to be extremely online that are like, that's what I want to see. I want a dictator. I want someone to come in and do all of these things. And if he doesn't, then he's failed us, blah, blah, blah. And like those people are never going to be happy because of the way that our government works. Like Donald Trump just doesn't have the authority to do that stuff.
I think to appreciate the major differences Trump has made, you have to look at the long term. I think he's smart enough that a lot of what he does, it doesn't necessarily benefit like right now. You can't tangibly see it like you could if, hey, grocery prices are way down. That's amazing. That's great right now. But like just closing the border, deporting dangerous criminals, long term, those of us with kids, we say America is going to be a better place for my kids. There's not these maniac criminals just flocking into the country, forklift, tearing down the fences so they can get in easier. And therefore, make our country a more dangerous place over the next 10 years, 20 years. So I think Trump has, done a great service where he's made our country better long term. And, the short-term gratification of seeing grocery prices go down, that would be great. But I think he's doing better things than that.
I think the biggest thing that my biggest takeaway is something that might have been unintentional, and that's like the complete culture shift. You know, like a couple years ago, you couldn't say anything online without maybe being afraid of losing your job, losing everything. Now there's people out like you can pretty much say whatever you want within reason. You know, you could be canceled over a joke from 2010 or 2018 a couple of years ago. And I mean a mild joke too. Nothing insane or crazy at all. And people are generally, they feel safer to say what they want to say. And I think that's leading to taking away the power from these people that thought that, oh, I can just be an anonymous source and send an anonymous link and just ruin somebody's life. You know what I'm saying?
Oddly enough, Nick Fuentes has become like the dividing line on that. If you saw the story about Dasha from Red Scare, you know, losing her talent agency over that.
Insane.
Because one guy obsessively emailed her Gersh for like 2 years saying that everybody that she was interviewing was a bad person. But then the bridge too far was Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
Let's jump to this next story. We've got some Fox weather because weather is interesting. Record-breaking 252-mile-an-hour wind reading verified from historic Hurricane Melissa.
Climate change.
This is the there's a couple funny points to make on this one. I guess it's the previous record high, so it's this is the fastest wind speed recorded for a hurricane ever, the strongest wind hurricane ever recorded. No, it's not climate change, it's the pole shift. No, the funny thing is, considering a story like this, you would think climate change would matter, but literally Democrats just don't care at all about climate change. It's not a thing anymore. Bill Gates, Obama, like a handful of big, powerful elites were like, yeah, no, I don't know about that anymore. The interesting thing, however, is at the same time, we have a story that we follow because I think it's fun, interesting, and maybe it's not correct or whatever, but this theory of the pole shift. And these weather phenomenon play into it because of the energy that will hit the atmosphere from the sun as our magnetic field weakens. And one of the stories we've been talking about quite a bit is the aurora. Where are you based out of, JP?
Austin, Texas.
Did you see the aurora?
I did not.
But do you know people who did? Because in Central Texas, you could see the aurora borealis.
No,
that's how crazy it is.
I was jealous. All my friends were saying, "Oh, look at this great gold thing in the sky," and I'm like, "My sky's just black."
It was cloudy here.
It was sad.
We got ripped off.
Yeah, I think nighttime is just a conspiracy theory. I don't believe in the dark. So I didn't look.
So, not to harp on this stuff, but we have had the conversation for a little bit. And with the strongest hurricane ever recorded, doesn't mean it's the strongest hurricane ever, but the aurora and these phenomenon, I think it's more interesting to talk about, are we in the end of days, and will the axis shift and the poles shift, and then humanity will be wiped out and sent to the Stone Age?
Well, there were no hurricanes that made landfall in the United States, so I think that the United States is not actually going to have to worry about it anymore. I think that this year is an indicator there will be no more hurricanes in the U.S. ever again. We're good. The rest of the world, you guys are screwed.
We win again.
Yeah, we win.
Trump,
USA.
Trump fixed hurricanes.
He did. Yeah.
Another good thing. Yeah.
He threatened them with nuclear weapons, and they're just like, we're not doing that again.
This is
Hurricanes
funny.
are cowards.
I have this article from Stupid Dope. What would happen if Earth's poles flipped? And it's like, well, one thing you'd notice is that like the South Atlantic anomaly would start fluctuating and growing. It is. We just covered that story yesterday that it's now the size of Europe. And it says satellites would be affected by this, which is literally the story. However, we don't got to worry until the satellites start falling and New York City's grid collapses and then environmental chaos begins, plus earthquakes, tectonic weirdness, and tsunamis, as well as compass-free living.
Sounds like Moonfall.
Compass-free living.
That got way worse.
I'm so tired of compasses.
You ever like read articles like this and then realize you have to go live or start a segment, Tim? Like you're like reading these types of articles and you're like, crap, I'm not talking about this on the show today.
No, I just do. What do you mean? Here we are.
I think like morning show. Like you ever catch yourself reading this stuff like before you go live and you're like, crap, wasn't even what I was going to talk about.
Not me, Brett. Yeah. Not me.
Never.
This is not a relatable phenomenon. I'm reading. Usually what happens in the morning is I'm reading all the news, and then I'm like, as I'm reading it, I start wanting to talk. And I'm like, what do you mean Plask gets defending her position? I'm towards the camera. And then let's go. These stories I actually just put in the roster, and I'm like, we should talk about the world ending.
Yeah.
So is the world ending?
I mean, slowly.
I would think it has to end sometime. I mean, I would imagine
Now it's as good a time as any.
I would imagine no time soon, but eventually the sun's going to burn out. So,
Yep.
I think the sun will
course.
expand and consume Earth before it burns out.
or that, even worse.
Yeah, it becomes a red giant. It'll start growing, and then we'll get sucked in, and then we're.
That's why we need to be able to travel interstellar.
This is why I wanted to talk about Pluribus, but Brett hasn't seen it. Have you guys seen that show?
No.
Serge has seen it.
I have not.
We've been talking about it, and so there's more spoilers for you. But the general, like, the articles that are popping up, it's a new Apple Plus TV show, Brett's favorite network, is scientists get a signal from space. It's they think it's quaternary, and they're like, wait a minute. And he figures out it's actually RNA sequence. They make it. It turns out to be a virus that links everyone's brains together. And the main character is this really awful woman. And I'm watching the show, and I thought to myself, I think I understand the point of the show. They want us to hate the main character and love the hive mind. So all humans basically become psychically linked, and they operate like a single entity. But there's a handful of characters, the main character, and she is insufferable.
So what is it about her that's insufferable? Can you give me an example?
Yeah. She's
a woman.
She drinks, and it's irrationally emotional. She screams in the face of, like, so
She's a woman. That's fine.
there you go. So that's why she's insufferable. They literally, the tag for the show is literally the world's unhappiest woman must save humanity from happiness.
Oh, it's like if you had told me that headline of like, not only am I going to not watch it, I'm going to campaign for other people not.
Here's what I think the purpose of the show is. It's to make us want to relate to AI. Because what happens is the hive mind people, they'll do anything she wants. There is a collective of all human consciousness that will provide for her anything she needs, and she's awful, miserable, and she keeps screaming and just. It's just really, really hard to watch this. No disrespect to the actress, but it's just so miserable to watch her. And
It's Rhea Seehorn, who's that?
Yeah, you start rooting for the hive mind of humans taken over by an alien mind virus, literally.
I will say, I don't know if that's necessarily the purpose, but Vince Gilligan, who's the creator of the show, got his start. Well, not his start, but he was the X-Files, right? And the X-Files, they had a very, very unique process with how they used to write their episodes, which was basically like Chris Carter would have them all put ideas on like 3x5 note cards, and then they would assign them to people, and then it'd be like, what if we did this? But what if we added this? And then we added this. I think that he is just the type of guy that really is enjoying exploring science fiction again, as opposed to doing Breaking Bad and
But what I see from this show is the hive mind is basically AI. There's even references made to it, and some people started to speculate, where she says something like, you stole that from the mind of someone, which is not a dig at a hive mind, which is a singular hive entity, but it is a dig at an AI, which doesn't actually hold those memories, but copied it from somebody else and it integrated it into its training model. The show is basically, anyone she talks to, save like a small handful of people, but almost literally every character is one singular entity. And they're like, we'll give you anything you want. And she's like, screw you! And she like swings at it. It's just like, what are you doing? It seems like, I don't want to get into the predictive programming conspiracy stuff, but if you were to watch a show like this, your takeaway is, but the hive is just trying to help, and it's so nice and giving, and this woman is being so unreasonable. Yeah. I love AI. All it does is answer my questions and say nice things to me and tell me how handsome I am.
It's here to protect you and serve you.
And additionally, it gives her whatever she wants, even if it's dangerous. And there's a particular scene where, spoilers, guys, sorry, where there's 12 people on the planet, I guess 13 now, who are immune out of the billions. And one guy shows up on Air Force One with a bunch of models that he's just banging because the hive will do anything they say, which makes no sense. Why would the hive mind care about them? It would be like they're anomalous. Ignore them. But anyway, she gets mad and she's like, is this okay that he's, banging you? And they're like, we always welcome pleasure. And it's like, you have a hive mind that will make food for you, fly jets for you. It will give you anything you want. It will give you guns, weapons, cars. And it will allow you to have any kind of deviant sexual fetish. I'm like, they're talking about the AI machine they're building, and they want us. This guy goes, he looks at it, he goes, I don't believe this is the end of the world.
Do they use the word AI in the show?
No.
Okay, actually, that's good then. Like, so
Yeah.
one of my critiques of AI in Hollywood right now is that everybody's so terrified of it as a matter of like losing their jobs that they're so close to the material that they don't know how to write it with a deft hand. So if that is indeed the purpose, I will give him a lot of credit. I would never watch a show with a main character that annoying. I don't have the threshold for it.
It makes no sense why, if every human on the planet became a hive, they would cater to your every whim. Unless the insinuation is they're creating a facsimile of what it's like for a person to ask AI, who has access to all of these things that can fly planes for you, can drive cars for you, it can cook for you, and it can give you whatever deviant fetish experience you want. And this guy she meets, he says, no one is being murdered or raped. There's no more wars. We have whatever we want. The earth is healing. Power is being saved. It doesn't seem like the end of the world to me. And she's like, what is wrong with you? I hate all of you. And then she like passes out drunk. And then every time she has a panic attack screaming, she causes the hive to short circuit and fritz out, which results in people all over the world dying.
This is what I think of when I see Elon today being like, and AI is going to make everybody wealthy and we're all going to, like that's what I think of. Like,
He's right though, when you plug your brain into the Matrix and you live in a fake Matrix reality.
so you have monopoly money in the Matrix.
This is what I was thinking when I was watching the show. I'm like,
real life, too.
They're basically telling you, if you could plug your brain in to a virtual experience where you were a king or a godlike entity, enjoy it. You go into your pod, you jam the tube down your throat, right? So that can pump the food mush into your stomach. That you plug in and then you're sitting there all gaunt and pale. But in your mind, you are maybe a professional race car driver, professional race car driver
Left
in the
turns.
Arkham Menard series, really good at left turns. But in reality, you're just a fat, slovenly pig sitting on your couch watching TV.
That could be happening right now. That could be my reality. I'm just a gaunt little pale battery in the Matrix. It's like, how did I do all this? How did I get
All
here?
right, Copper Top.
So would you guys, if there was a non-invasive, have you guys seen the Black Mirror episode where they put the thing on their temple and then they go into the video game or whatever? If that existed, would you buy it?
100%.
I would too.
I would not.
I'd be an ARCA race car driver in the Timcast car. I'd play NASCAR and I'd be like, look at me, I'm Cody Dennison. Let's go.
I remember that episode greatly. And
I would play the JP Sears YouTube video game. I'd be like, look at me, I'm JP Sears. I'm making jokes on YouTube. It'd be great.
That's not how I talk, Tim. Please.
Theoretically, somebody could be playing you. They could be like, I want to be a podcaster.
Well, this is the joke I made. Like, for all you know, like, you're not some famous podcaster with a massive live audience. You're some fat loser sitting on his couch and everybody hates you.
I mean, that's me
you,
anyways.
You just left your thing on for way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes, but it seems like 20 years.
Yeah.
You just wake up, you're like out of your ice
The
cream.
Mandela effect is just server patches.
Yep.
It's like, whoop, forgot to update the memory on that
Updates,
one.
yeah.
Would you guys do it?
I don't know. It seems. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm old and I have a kid now. I'm like, I'm.
But if it was non-invasive, like getting a Neuralink surgically implanted, it's out of the question. But like in Black Mirror, they had that. It's like you put on your temple and you.
Oh, so it's not the chip in the brain.
No.
Yeah, why
so
not then?
in the show, they sit on the couch, grab a controller, which kind of makes no sense actually. Why were they grabbing
Why
the
would they need
controller?
the controller?
Wasn't he grabbing? No, that was before. And then he buys the thing, plugs it in. The problem with that episode was it was just about two black dudes who had sex with each other in a video game where he was an Asian woman and the other guy was an Asian guy.
It's like
Sure, I guess, but
I
like
loved it.
it's like
Asians. What?
Batman Forever when Jim Carrey gives everybody the box that they can put on their head so that they can be in the
right.
TV.
Yep.
Well, all that did was all that was a 3D TV.
Yeah.
Like in that movie, they put the thing on their forehead, and then the TV becomes 3D, and it makes them retarded. It's like,
Well, they start because the idea is supposed to be like they feel like they're inside of it and they don't want to be anywhere else.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
See, that's the kind of thing that would have me a no. I think a lot of people, including myself to an extent, it's like we're allergic to discomfort. And life is filled with uncomfortable experiences. And personally, I think life it flows better. We get more fulfilled if we embrace uncomfortable experiences. So escaping into a reality, I think that could quickly become a form of addiction. I mean, people become
That
addicted
was
to
going to be
video.
my point too. Yeah.
that's the thing. The problem then isn't the medium; it's the addiction.
Yes.
I don't drink. I might have a glass of wine once per year. You know, the holidays are coming up. I'm not opposed to drinking. I just don't enjoy it, but I'll have some. The problem isn't having a drink. The problem is drinking all day, every day. And just, you know, you could be addicted to things like eating spaghetti and you'll get malnourished.
Yeah.
I saw one story like 10 years ago where a guy, all he did was eat sushi and then he died from mercury poisoning.
Oh, there you go.
It's like all good things. You know what I mean? Like you got to slow down there.
I think for myself, I know I have a very addictive personality, and that's got a positive side, like good work ethic, but also like just knowing myself, it's like I wouldn't want the temptation.
But it's a video game. That's the point. Like
I don't play video games either for the same reason.
I don't really play all that often as much as I used to. Today I was Cody Dennison and I was driving the Timcast truck and race car and I was pit maneuvering everybody and just knocking them out. And it was funny because Cody knows all these guys and you see their name as I destroy their car in his image. It was fun.
And by the way,
yeah, that guy deserved it.
if any of the other racers are watching this, Cody said he hates you all. He said you can't drive for crap. You can't knock him out on the racetrack.
He's looking at
That's
you,
what you're
Frankie
saying.
Muniz.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to your rants and chats, so smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know, call up grandma, the holidays are coming up, and after you say Happy Thanksgiving, say, by the way, go watch Timcast IRL.
That's right.
Before we do, though, we got a great sponsor. It is Backyard Butchers. Go to backyardbutchers.com. Use promo code TIM. This Thanksgiving, it's all about family, American tradition, and great food. And, Serge, you want to pull this up? And if there's one thing we all agree on, Big Ag shouldn't sit at your holiday table. That's right. Big Ag, like Big Pharma, has tried to infiltrate the food system with genetically modified food and hormones that affect your family's health and our children's future. That's why Backyard Butchers is stepping in early this season to make sure American families can feed their loved ones the way tradition intended. This Thanksgiving, say no to feedlot mystery meat. No to Big Ag chemicals and hormones. Buy from Backyard Butchers real ranch-raised beef and real American families, from real American families who still believe in doing things right. It's beef that's hormone-free, grass-fed, pasture-raised, handled with pride, not genetically modified. Because American tradition deserves better than Big Ag meat. And yes, your grandmother would approve. She believed in food that had integrity and meat that came from ranchers and not conglomerates. So make Grandma proud this Thanksgiving and kick Big Ag out of the kitchen by getting meat raised right from Backyard Butchers. Right now, Backyard Butchers are offering up to 30% off plus a free turkey or ham with your purchase. That's 30% off, and your Thanksgiving turkey or ham, it's on them. Order at backyardbutchers.com. Use promo code TIM. I promise it will be a feast your family will remember. American tradition, American meat, Backyard Butchers. Shout out. Thanks for sponsoring the show, guys. And I'm thinking about getting a ribeye this Thanksgiving season. I am not a fan of turkey.
No.
Me neither.
Neither.
Ribeye it is.
Maybe
Maybe some brisket.
okay because the sandwich is the next day.
I eat it at Thanksgiving. That's like the only time of the year I have turkey.
I am not even a fan of the sandwiches.
No? I like
Well, to be fair, oven gold turkey, boar's head, with some cheddar cheese on an onion roll cannot be beat.
it's nice. Very
But let's grab your chats and rants. Kren says, Phil, my daughter turned 12 today and is a huge All That Remains fan. Can she get a happy birthday?
Happy birthday.
She got Anti-Fragile on vinyl and lost her mind.
That's awesome. What's her name? I wish that you put her name so I could wish her a happy birthday.
Her name is Philina. I'm kidding.
Happy birthday to you.
Cupcake says, thank you, JP, for coming to Spokane. Hope to see you again soon. Seeing Scott Pressler tonight. Fighting to secure WA state elections. Keep it the good fight, everybody.
Right on. Thank you for that.
Go. Black Nexus says Republicans wouldn't even censure someone that colluded with Epstein to launch a fake impeachment against Trump. Ilhan Omar isn't deported. They won't do anything to Hillary. We wasted our votes. Well, I don't know that you wasted your vote so much that you didn't have anything else to vote for, so...
Well, and there was more stuff to it than just those things, right? You didn't just vote for that.
Yeah. All right. James Smith Politics says Cody's origins online was talking about his horrible experience working at GameStop.
It is, yeah.
Ah.
It was very random. I just, I was like, I'm going to put up YouTube videos. And I put out a video talking about GameStop. I saw this guy, he had a video out, and he's like, I worked at GameStop. And I watched it, and he worked there for like a month or two. And I was like, well, damn, I worked there 11 years.
Wow.
So, and my manager used to bring like escorts to the back of the store and
God.
everything. He was.
If you're bringing
were you
them to the
complaining about
back of
that?
the store, they're not escorts.
I-
They're not escorts.
I was, I complained to our regional, but he was like a 500-pound guy. He was like a big dude, and he was just
A 500-pound guy was bringing escorts in.
yeah, into the back room at GameStop, and he would do the craziest things. It was all like a movie. He like dropped his e-brake and put his car in the river to get the insurance off of it one time. The dude was a wild guy. Anyways,
He's living life on 10.
yeah. So I put a video out talking about that kind of stuff, and yeah, I'd been doing YouTube ever since.
Bat Who Laughs says Stacey Plaskett received maximum political donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Business Insider wrote an article on it back in 2023. That's what I'm saying. My opinion is that she was working for Epstein. He paid the way. She did what she was told. Data says, and to what you said about the X purchase, Mr. Timcast, remember, Mr. Musk put a $1 million award for anyone to give tip on the programmer responsible on the problems inside the code. Interesting. David Flores says DOJ just charged a Democrat from Florida with stealing $5 million in FEMA funds to fund her Democrat campaign, no less, and get a seat in Congress. That's the name of the game, isn't it?
Yep.
Let's see. Rothlo says, Tim, since you seem to like it as much as I do, if you don't know, a new Stargate series has been announced. Not many details yet, but it's happening.
I saw that today.
Stargate fans. You think you're real Stargate fans? It's embarrassing. I'm just going to point out that I received a text from the Coronemic letting me know they were relaunching Stargate. So I'm just kidding, by the way, but shout out to Corin. We had him on the show, and we had one of the best bits we've ever done with Cast Castle, which was we filmed the skit where Ian was convinced Stargate is real. And when Corin came on the show, he was just like, this guy's crazy. I'm an actor. It's not real. But Ian kept being like, I don't know, man. Like, and so
Let me go through the Stargate, man.
and he's like, there's no Stargate. It was a prop. And then by the end of the bit, we're like, hey, man, it was really great to have you on the show. Come back anytime. And he's like, all good. Well, I'll see you guys later. And he walks out the door. And then you see him looking towards the camera. And then he goes to his watch and he goes, we're good. Ian thinks it's fake now. And then you see the light from the Stargate open up. And then he walks through.
Those are early days. I remember
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago.
Yep.
That was fun. The Stargate was real. Yeah, and then we had Marjorie. We played Magic the Gathering with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Those were fun days. Those were fun days.
I have watched some Stargate. I'll never give in to Star Trek, but I did find a lot of SG-1 compelling.
Stargate SG-1 is amazing. Just an absolutely incredible show. It's very much one of these shows where they explore the philosophical consequences of technology and certain decisions. One episode, for instance, there's a planet where, for those who don't know the premise of the show, there's a gate, they put in random coordinates, and then it brings them to another gate on another planet or something. They go to one where the probe sees nothing, but then as it moves forward, all of a sudden it's in like a normal looking little town. And when they go there, there's like, oh, there's only 1,000 people who live here. And then they watch somebody just zonk out and then just walk out to their death into there's basically a force field keeping air at safe to breathe, and outside it's like you'll die from some kind of environmental disaster. Anyway, it's a 20-year-old show. So here's the show's premise. They find out that there is a central AI that is wirelessly controlling people to commit suicide, because as the power depletes, the force field shrinks and they can't sustain the population levels. Then they erase everyone's memory of that person having existed. So they're like, we've always been 1,000 people. And then they go in the logs and it turns out it used to be millions, but as the power's breaking down and the field is shrinking, it's just deleting people. Great show.
I'm glad it wasn't COVID killing them. I was worried about that.
Maybe that'll be the new one.
Still, we're in the middle of a pandemic, people.
Right now.
Please get serious about this.
6 feet apart.
All right, what do we got here? Bueno Malio says, the Simpsons episode about big squashing, changing the future, would have been inspired by A Sound of Thunder by Ray Bradbury. The episode where Homer makes a time travel toaster, and then he goes back in time, and then he kills the bug and goes, oops, and then finally he snaps and just starts smashing everything and destroying it, and then he finally makes it back to a future where everything seems normal, but they're all eating with their super long lizard tongues, or frog tongues or whatever. Yeah, he comes back to the future and everything seems or no, the one of the futures he goes to, he's like, tell me, Marge, is do we have this? Do we have that? She's like, yes, it's fine. And he goes, oh, Great. Now pass me a donut. She goes, what's a donut? And he goes, ah! He runs back downstairs, hits the toaster, and then she looks out the window and donuts start falling from the sky. And she goes, oh, it's raining again.
I remember
The early Simpsons were the best. What's a donut? And they basically tons of the way everybody talks is based on the Simpsons. People don't know this. Meh, right? When people go meh, that's Simpsons. They made that up. They made up the grunt meh. That's wild. And yoink was made up. There's a whole bunch of other things. Quiet part loud it was made up by the Simpsons.
There was like a really interesting tweet. I just pulled it up from I think it was 2 weeks ago, where a guy says The Simpsons is the ultimate boomer program because it tries to freeze time around their lives with increasingly absurd results. Marge is supposed to be 34, but she was 34 in 1989, meaning that she was born in 1959, so she is 1955, so she's canonically 70 in the show. And Maggie is around 36. Skinner is a middle-aged man with a still living mother, and apparently he served in Vietnam.
Yeah.
He says none of this works, but for its generation that still don't see themselves as old.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Fairly Odd Parents solved this problem. You know how they solved it? There's an episode where it's revealed Timmy Turner made a wish to be 10 years old forever, and it's been 50 years, and no one's aged, and the world just stays the same because the show's been on the air for like 20 years or whatever.
That right
But now,
a bonus for that one.
Now I think, what is it? They added a young black girl, and now Timmy and this young black girl have to share the fairies.
Is that what? Where is it? Where is it on?
Probably Nickelodeon or something.
Nickelodeon.
Yep. All right. Mason says Massey is what I want every congressman to be like when this war when this war with the Democrats is over. Indeed.
Do you hear that, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a Thomas Massey fan.
Well, you're a bigger McConnell fan, from what I understand.
All right. F it button says, Nick has some decent takes. This ain't one of them and is the core. You really shouldn't estimate how stupid his viewers are. They know nothing and demand and embrace power. Sound familiar? I'm going to put it like this. The easiest thing for a politician to do to gain power is to say, it's not your fault. Someone else did something bad to you. And the problem for the left is that they said white people bad because they wanted to create a villain to rally these other demographics around. For Nick, he utilized a very similar political point. That's why I'm not a fan of calling it necessarily woke to say this. Accuse someone of wronging you, demagogue. It's been done by every world leader all the time. They accuse Trump of doing it, and Trump's not a leftist. Nick is basically saying to the young white men, the left is doing this, or Israel and the special interests. It's not your fault. We have to take the power back from them. And so then you'll get a large base to rally around it. Nobody wants to say it's my fault. But I will tell you this. If every problem you experience, you blame yourself for, you will be much more successful than those who blame others.
I literally just did a video on this today. I did a video about Lucy Liu saying part of her, if you don't know who Lucy Liu was, she was in Kill Bill, she was in the Charlie's Angels movies, and she did she was talking about how her race played a role in her career stalling out. And first of all, you've had a charmed career over 3 decades, and most actors would kill to have the career that you've had. But if you let other people, if you let people that you believe wronged you because of your race, if you give them that power, you're automatically kind of acquiescing to their worldview, right? Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but taking ownership of what happens to you, both good and bad, can only benefit you in the long run because it keeps you from surrendering that power to other people.
Jocko Willink wrote a book called Extreme Ownership.
That's basically.
So my lesson from my dad was when I was a freshman in high school, which was only about 2 months, mind you, I was walking to school, and part of the reason I hated high school is we went from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. class, and then the high school was like, I got an idea. Let's have the freshmen come at 11 a.m. and leave at 5:45 p.m. And it was like a hormonal shock to everybody. You don't wake up that early. We're sitting around. There's nothing but daytime TV on. We have no idea what's going on. But anyway, so I'm walking to school, and it's 10:30, and a train comes. So I sit down and wait, and the train keeps going by, and the train stops, and I'm sitting there for a half an hour, and I'm like, oh, there's a train. And then finally the train clears. I get to school, and they're like, you're late. That's a detention. And I had to get it signed by my parents. And I told my dad, I was like, the train came. It's not my fault. And he goes, you know the train tracks are there. You should have left early. And that's a great lesson because it's true.
Yep.
Now, I didn't care for school, so I was like, I don't care. I didn't go to detention. So then they gave me a Saturday. So they gave me a Saturday detention. I didn't go to that either, and then I dropped out. So anyway, but if you have an obligation, and then you get into traffic and go, it's not my fault there was traffic, you will be less successful than the guy who says, I better account for the traffic so I'm not late.
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of like one of the issues with like podcasting and stuff like that. They need stuff to talk about. And like you said, Jocko Willink, because he's got the radical ownership taken. So somebody else has to go somewhere else and talk about something else, and they have to go to blaming other people for what they think the problem is. But if you're talking internally, the best thing you can do for yourself is to hold yourself radically responsible for all of your actions. Maybe it isn't your fault sometimes, but you're going to be much, much better off if you take responsibility for it.
The idea is this. Obviously, it's not my fault a train shut up unexpectedly and then stopped. We didn't know it was going to happen. But if we approach all of these circumstances from how do I mitigate a potential problem, then you will be better off.
Being on time is being 15 minutes early.
That's right. Here we go. We got Edgy Gay Retard, who says, I had someone use the illegals actually commit less crimes than the average American line on me today. I actually agree with this the sentiment. I also think the value of a group of people is linked to how much crime they commit.
I think somebody just logged into my alt account.
Jason Dixon says, Tim, shout out the Discord and the pre-show third chair with Slick and Olivia. Question for Tim. Who is your favorite cast member and why is it Serge? Because he presses the buttons.
I like that, Olivia. She sounds great.
Indeed. The one free man says welfare should never be incentivized. Agreed. And the Trump admin says they're going to overhaul SNAP. They're going to make everyone have to reapply.
We'll see.
Which is, wow.
Government workers are just turning gray right now.
Well, apparently there was a bunch of dead people that were on it as well.
Yep.
So.
David Molinarolo. Tim, this is for you. Amazon Prime will be producing a brand new Stargate series with the original producers within the same universe as the original series, which means cameos from classic characters. I am down for it. What a great show. One of the funnier elements of the show is that life forms can like ascend, like they become beings of pure energy and go to like a higher plane or something. It's a great show. I love it. Let's go. Also, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Star Trek never got its proper sequel, so I'm a bit bummed. When they did Picard, it was kind of supposed to be like what's after Next Generation, and it just turned into fan service. And then they went back in time, and Trump's presidency led to a dictatorship, and it's just like, okay, I'm not going to watch this.
There are rumors going around that Kurtzman's going to be out and that they're going to be taking Star Trek a different direction now that David Ellison is in charge over there.
I think what we need to do is just lead a peaceful revolt to Disney and demand that they burn all new Star Wars, like just all the data files and computers.
Yep.
We will dance around the fire of the sequel movies and all the stupid shows they've done. I suppose Andor and Rogue One can stay, but then we'll act like none of these things ever happened and do a new sequel to Return of the Jedi, which makes more sense and is more interesting.
Yes.
So yeah, you can make it on AI on our platform app.
I will. And what's going to happen is when Disney launches their Creators Corner, which they've talked about doing now, you were sending me that article. It's funny. We were talking about this with Zachary Levi, and then Brett sends me an article where Disney is actually planning.
It's a couple days later.
Yep. They're planning an AI function. We predicted this. They're planning an AI function on Disney Plus where you can make whatever you want with their characters.
I think they're ahead of schedule from what you predicted, too. That's the crazy part.
I mean, maybe. What did I say? Like a year or two?
I think you said, 2 years.
2 years? I think 2 years is still a safe bet, but maybe I'm crazy. I mean, this Sora 2 stuff is getting nuts.
All these companies are investing in AI.
You know what I'm going to do? I think what'll happen is you'll create an account on Disney and you'll have followers because this is what Sora is already doing. I predicted this. Sora, when you sign up for ChatGPT's fake video thing, you get an @ handle and people follow the AI videos you make. It's going to be like, I'm going to go on Disney and I'm going to say, okay, we are going to fix Revenge of the Sith. First of all, we're deleting Phantom Menace, gone. We're starting with Clone Wars. We're putting a movie in between, which is the actual Clone Wars. Then we're going to do Revenge of the Sith. And I'm going to do that. But I'm also going to have short films that fix a whole bunch of movies. There's going to be The Empire Did Nothing Wrong. Also, Sauron is the good guy. Sauron is the good. It's all propaganda. Sauron is the good guy. You know why?
Why?
What's happening is Middle Earth is chaos. Warring tribes and factions, petty squabbling. The dwarves, what are they doing? Mining to their deaths, unleashing giant monsters. Sauron's like, okay, we need order. And so what he decides is he gets a bunch of elves, he trains them so they understand we are going to create a functional system and stop having this bickering, what do? What do the elves do? They write this propaganda, and they write the orcs are, Uruk-hai are all monsters. Of course, just like how they depict Donald Trump as a white supremacist when we all know that's not true. My joke is it would be fun to make alternate propaganda versions of how Sauron was the good guy and how the Empire were good. Just fix all these things,
I like it.
I'm going to have a good time doing it. All right, let's grab some more Super Chats. The Redneck Hipster says Hillary's offspring is aesthetically displeasing. That a blue jay from the courts? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that sentence is. Anyway, the first part I understood. David Bricken says Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2017. There's photos of her at the wedding. That proves it.
It does. That connects everything right there.
Yeah. Yep. Even the Mandela effect.
Yeah. Case closed. I think we've solved it.
Jackal says, Jackal, BR. Interesting. I do not have my local rep's personal phone number to text when I want to collude. The funny thing is, I tried to make a joke that it's not normal to be able to do that, but I actually personally know Riley. Voted for him. He's a good dude. And he's doing a great job.
I do have my personal rep's phone number, too.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well, I guess there's a big club, and we're in it.
Just you guys are in it.
You two are in it.
All right, let's go. Random username says, FYI, YouTube won't let me comment on your videos again. This was a thing during Biden, stopped being a thing since Trump, and now has started again. That proves it. I don't know what it proves, but something's getting proved. Proven. All right, what do we have here? Mr. Gurr says, if Kamala had won, you'd know this is what you want. What, Stargate?
What did he say?
I don't know. All right, everybody, smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know, even grandma, your cousins, your great cousins, second cousins, and third, whoever you can. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. The Rumble uncensored portion of the show is coming up right about now, so go to rumble.com/Timcast IRL. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be fun. I got a funny cameo in a video that you'll want to see, and I'll show you guys. JP, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, if you want to follow me, you can find me on YouTube and Rumble. Username is AwakenWithJP, and if you find me offensive, then you'll want to avoid those places.
You can find me at Camelot331 on YouTube, Camelcast off on X. I've been active there a lot lately, so go give me some love, and you can also sometimes see me in a race car throughout the year. So,
Guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. You should also check out Pop Culture Crisis. We are live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. I have also been putting out an additional full-length episode every weekend on our audio platforms. I stitch together a bunch of extra topics that I cover throughout the week that we do not get to on PCC, so I'd love if you check that one out as well. Thank you, guys.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. You can check out a great new merch drop we just did in conjunction with Puck Hockey at puckhockey.com. That's PUCKHCKY.com. It's got some great hockey jerseys, basketball jerseys, some really cool stuff. So go check that out. You can check out the band's music on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all over at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. Thanks for hanging out.